Here's another thing. When you think about how little we know about the ocean, doesn't that really show you more of the greatness of God's creation?
Yeah.
Like the vastness of, we talked about this a little bit with Pete, like something cool about being an outdoorsman, going outside and going fishing, hunting, exploring, whatever you're into, foraging. You could go into the same place multiple times and never see the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, before we dive into today's episode, we have some exciting news to share.
That's right. The Casting Faith podcast has officially partnered with
First Form,
your go-to for the best energy drinks, greens, protein bars, beef sticks, and much more to fuel your fitness and wellness journey.
Whether you're hitting the gym or heading out on the water or just trying to feel better every day, First Form has you covered. It doesn't matter if you're keto, if you're vegan, whatever diet you're on, they have you covered. Think premium protein products, top-tier vitamins, and even these delicious energy drinks that fuel this podcast.
Here's the best part. When you shop through the link in our bio, you're not just investing in your health, you're helping the Casting Faith podcast and supporting us to bring you more content.
So go ahead and check it out. Grab what you need because they have you covered, and let's tackle this faith, fitness, wellness journey. Whatever you're on, this is the stuff that will fuel you. And let's dive into today's episode.
I challenge you as a believer, let that power get out.
Blind people receive their sight. People have been carried in. We're healed. Nobody touched them. Nobody laid a hand on them. We just praised the Lord and spoke the word of faith, and God began to heal the people.
Here's fish.
Yeah, let's go! Oh my gosh, he's a pig. He landed inside of it.
He kept me from the skunk. Look how massive this is.
The Casting Faith podcast.
Fish on.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Good morning. Welcome to the Casting Faith
or
podcast.
good afternoon.
Or good night. I don't know.
Or this is how we're putting you to sleep now.
Am I soothing enough?
Think about the water on the beach. Calix was talking about that. The sleep music or something.
Dude, I'm all about that white noise life.
I can't do it.
You can't do it?
No.
Oh, I can't do without it. It helps.
Welcome back to the Casting Faith podcast, everybody. Thanks for tuning in another week. We are on episode 21.
What?
That is crazy.
Wild.
We've passed the limit where most podcasts fail.
Oh, maybe we passed that a long time ago, I think.
Yeah, and we're still here with you every week, Friday mornings, and we hope you're tuning in.
Yeah.
And well, if you're listening to this, you are. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And share this, grow this community. We got some big ideas down the pipeline, but we want to make sure you're here for them.
Yeah.
So excited to be back
What's up, man?
for another epised.
Yeah.
And
We're
man,
still wearing the same clothes every week. It's
wild.
crazy, right?
I gotta probably wash this shirt. Brought to you by First Form for now.
Tide.
Yeah, Tide. Yeah, Tide is not as much. No, but yeah.
Tide Pods now. That generation before us, they would love that sponsorship
That's
for
wild.
edibles.
Dumb ways to die.
That's funny.
So, man, Sean, what's new? Since the last episode.
Yeah, we've been sitting here for a couple hours recording the past episodes.
I did a couple of pull-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did half of one.
Yeah.
I have a lot more to lift up in the air. I'm just saying that's my excuse.
It's true. It's true. It's functional.
Yeah. Let's see. By now the boat should have come in. So it's probably not warm yet. It's only 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's wild how that works.
yeah.
Man, it's tough waiting on that perfect weather.
Yeah.
Today, I'm looking through your basement window right now, and I'm hoping that the rain stopped and maybe there's a shot somewhere.
Yeah.
But man, it's tough waiting for the perfect weather. But it is warming up. It's warming up. But a couple of weeks ago, do you remember when it was warm for like a few days, and then boom, another cold wave?
Are we talking about yesterday?
No.
Oh.
No, like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh. Yeah.
It just kind of happens that Ohio does this fake spring thing.
Awesome.
And I'm hoping that doesn't happen or doesn't happen. But, anytime that I'm not fishing, dude, All right. What's your go-to? Everybody has these things. This is not my notes, but I'm curious. Just some back and forth talk here. Your TV shows. Obviously, we're apostolic and we're Christian, right? And
Yeah.
so we don't partake in a bunch of garbage, or we try not to, anyways.
Yeah.
I think you got to watch what you consume. But what's your go-to for like winter watching? Like when there's not much else to do.
Like
now we got
on
podcasts
YouTube
or anything, just
or
in
on,
life.
like shows.
Yeah, like what was your go-to shows?
This winter we watched a lot of The Outdoor Boys
Yeah,
and tried to embrace the cold with
Yeah.
him.
yeah,
I like watching Duck Dynasty, like even
Yeah.
the old stuff. I know the new one's getting ready to come out, and but Duck Dynasty is good to watch.
I recently I rewatched that this winter, and I rewatched what was the other one you said? Outdoor Boys.
Yeah.
I never really got into that. I did a
Oh, yeah.
lot of Zachary Fowler's makeshift, and I don't know the whole thing, but Zach Fowler's a YouTuber. He does a lot of catch and cooks, camping, survival, 30-day challenges and stuff like that. Super fun, family-friendly Christian content. And Kendall will watch that with me. So every once in a while she'll come into my room and, Daddy, can we watch toy something? And I'm like, no, you're not going to watch a grown adult on YouTube play with toys. That's weird. But they love that. I don't know why they love that, but they love that. I said, no. And then she'll do this. She'll go, can we watch fishing?
Yes.
And I'm like, yep. Come on over here,
How
honey.
crazy it would be like if we got the Outdoor Boys guy
I think
on.
we could. I think Fowler would come on.
He's Christian.
He's Mormon.
Lutheran or something. Mormon.
So no.
Yeah. Our values are
Different. I mean, they're
views.
similar, but
yeah,
different.
we could probably have a good conversation though.
And that Fowler's Christian though. He's got a cool man. Some of his stuff is really good, really fun. And his shop too is pretty cool. He sells like survival tools and like ferro rods and different seasonings. He's got these cool things. I think it's by Grimm Workshop or something. Not a sponsor, but they're these cards that you can put in your wallet that they pop out into like fishing hooks and little knives and little tools. It's just like a survival card.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'll watch that. Duck Dynasty. Dude, do you remember River Monsters with Jeremy Wade?
Yeah, I never got into it.
Oh, get into it. It's fun.
Nah.
Meat Eater. Watch Meat Eater.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, a lot of it's outdoor stuff, but by far number one for me to kind of just chill in the winter with is Alone. History Channel's Alone.
It's kind of how winter feels anyways.
Yeah.
Alone.
It's a fun show, man. And it's a cool show.
I've been trying to get out of winter though.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
buying stuff for the boat, like
growing up,
just trying to think of all that stuff.
growing up watching River Monsters really encouraged me to fish a lot.
Yeah.
And I loved River Monsters, and it helped me go to sleep too. His voice.
So boring.
I'm Jeremy Wade. And I'm going to go catch this river. You know what I mean? Like it was this show. His voice was soothing, and it was cool to watch him catch these incredible species of fish that are in the rivers, not in the ocean, but the rivers.
I like watching. Now there's some like language that's not like bad language, but I don't know how to describe it. It's cringy, but I like watching Cletus McFarlane. It's like car stuff, racing stuff, like, and then it like destroys stuff, and he's just a fun dude, like a hillbilly that's stuck in Sarasota, Bradenton area. It's just fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
He did this like challenge. Have you seen like the golf challenge? I forget the guy that was doing it, but he was trying to hit a golf ball over his house every day until he made a hole in one like in his backyard.
I don't know
green.
who this is, to be honest.
So Cletus McFarlane did a spin-off of that golf challenge called Hard Park the Spark. And so like he came,
spark plug?
No, the Spark, like the Chevy Spark, the super tiny car.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He came in, like the rules were like, so there was 1 inch of clearance on each side of the wheel on the line, and 1 inch behind too. And so the rule was he had to enter the parking lot at 60 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And slide fishtail into the spot. And he finally did it.
Dude,
it was pretty crazy.
There's something about when you're young,
Tony Stewart tried and failed.
getting a car that's kind of a beater car.
Yeah.
Like the benefit of that, like, sorry, Pastor, but when I was a kid, I would go into the church parking lot with my Dodge Neon, my like 95, I don't even know what year it was, but it was a Dodge Neon. It was white. And I would drive into the parking lot when there was full of snow.
Yeah.
And I would just crank the e-brake and just start doing donuts in the parking lot.
Hey, we had, so I grew up at Christian Life Center in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a section of that lot that was gravel. And my friend Adam, who was one of the guys that played golf with us well, you weren't there. Your wife was working it though.
Mm-hmm. I had to watch the kiddos.
Yeah. So we won that tournament, by the way.
No kidding.
Yeah, we had a professional
Pro
Thanks, Kenny.
golfer.
Kenny. But yeah, so Adam, I was riding with Adam and my cousin Brad. We were doing donut. I wasn't driving, I was riding. They were doing donuts in the gravel parking lot together and smashed into each other really hard. It was hilarious.
Dude, that same Dodge Neon.
So funny.
So this was not my first car. We talked about favorite cars of our childhood.
Yeah.
My first car was like a Cadillac DeVille boat, right? It was like an old car and it had no air, no defrost, no radio. It was probably not safe to drive very far at all, but that was my first car and it was a boat. So that was horrible.
The first car I totaled was a Oldsmobile 98.
It was in that park.
I bought it from the assistant pastor. There's like back in the day, there's like the pastor car.
Oh yeah.
And it was the giant boats.
And they're boats. Yeah. And they're super safe.
And I looked down to grab my flip phone had fell. And so I reached down to grab it and there was a turning lane turning left. And then the lane I was in like veers off to the right. And I went down and it was already time to make that right-hand slight turn, and I just ran into the back of a stopped pickup truck at 40 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh. Dude, everybody has a story like that. So the first car that I purchased with some of my money was the Dodge Neon. Like I was gifted my first car of like the boats, like I got the ones that weren't working properly to learn on. That's what happened with my family. But the first one that I started making payments on and paying for was my Dodge Neon. It was a white Dodge Neon. I think it was a 98. I think it was a 98 Dodge Neon. So it wasn't super old, but it was old enough to not, 120,000 miles on it or something. It wasn't going to last forever anyways. But I would drive this to college. And I was working at Circle K at the time.
Your mom goes to college.
I was going to Costill in college. Close. But was going to college, working at Circle K. And I was in the middle of a winter storm on my way to work at Circle K. It was one of these, I don't know why we're still in winter. It's spring now. But anyways, it was one of these bad whiteout situations on 224. And I'm just driving, navigating, everyone who drives around here, learns to drive around here, just slow down, take your time, and you'll get there eventually, Like you don't have to speed through it and get in a wreck and be irresponsible.
It's frustrating for me.
It's frustrating, but that's just the way. You just got to take your time, get up a little earlier and slow down, and you'll get where you need to get. And so you don't have to panic or get frustrated with it. Just do it. Oh, I'm driving down this 224 and, my hood latch breaks.
Oh my!
In the middle of a storm, and it goes full Tommy boy, like Richard moment, where the hood of the car is now where I'm looking out into this whiteout, and by the grace of God, I didn't wreck, but I was able to pull off to the side and get my bungee cord out of the trunk and latch it down. But it was a scary moment.
Always keep a bungee cord in the car.
I could have died. It was straight out of Tommy Boy, man. It was wild.
That's funny.
But you never know what you're going to get. It could have been the end.
Oh, yeah, Forrest.
You never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates. No, it was an experience, though. But we called that car Richard because of Tommy Boy.
That's funny.
Speaking of things we watched when we were younger. But yeah, I can't believe you didn't like River Monsters, man. Never got into it. Did you ever watch it though?
Yeah.
I feel like your logical mind would love that show.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite shows. Don't you dare disrespect
that was
Jeremy
all
Lee.
like normal. So anybody knows fishing like Ohio River is I grew up on the Ohio River in Parkersburg, and there's some catfish in there that are the size of
Yeah, but
a pickup truck.
But I'm talking about, do you remember that? What was it? The Goliath tigerfish in the Nile of the Amazon.
The Nile's not in the Amazon.
No. The Nile. There's two different ones. There's the Goliath tigerfish.
The Nile's in Africa.
And then there is the Nile perch that he caught. Both were giants.
The Amazon is in Brazil.
I'm talking about two different episodes. Two different episodes.
You're still saying Nile in Brazil.
I'm saying the Nile perch and the separate episode of the Goliath tigerfish.
Oh.
Okay.
The Goliath tiger was in South America.
And it looked like a dinosaur.
Trayshawn swam with pink
Arapaima.
dolphins.
He also
pink dolphins.
I don't try. I'm never
in the Amazon River.
I'm never swimming with dolphins.
These looked like mutated, disgusting, gross.
Hey,
I wouldn't even call them a dolphin.
Hey,
they were gross.
I've heard some stories that we're not going to talk about. I'm never swimming with dolphins. Never.
Yeah.
I'll watch them. I'll feed them at SeaWorld or something, but I'm not ever swimming with the dolphins. Anyways, they look like dinosaur fish. It was just something cool. Like then I thought, like I could be like Jeremy Wade and catch these river monsters, you know?
Yeah.
And so it got me thinking today, though, of these crazy weird fish that are out there, you know? There's a story of a fish that recently popped up. This is not a river fish, and it's not from Egypt or the Amazon or whatever, right?
Egypt.
But
you mean Africa?
Africa, whatever you're talking about. It's not.
Your geography is great.
Hey, we're 3 episodes.
You're teaching kindergarten,
right? Not 5th or 6th. No. Anyways, my point is that this happened recently. Okay, and this is a hot topic fish. It's called the doomsday fish or the oarfish. All right, so I'm gonna tell this story. All right, it's one of the strangest, most mysterious creatures in the ocean. The oarfish. This is not just a...
Sounds like you're saying orifice.
Oarfish. Okay. It's not just any fish, but this fish can grow up to 50 feet long, and it looks something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But here's where it gets interesting, okay? In Japanese mythology, the oarfish is called the doomsday fish because people believe it predicts earthquakes and natural disasters. You heard me. People actually think that this fish can signify or be a symbol of something bad that could happen or is about to happen. And here's where things get weird. Last year, February 2024, some fishermen off the coast of Thailand caught a 9-foot long oarfish, and the internet lost its mind. This fish went viral. People were all worried because of this weird Japanese culture thing where they thought the world was ending or it was some great revelation, or quoting that this could be the start of the next pandemic or something crazy that was going to happen. And reality is it's just another fish, right?
Yeah.
And so the big question is could things like fish, like this oarfish, actually be a sign, or is it just another crazy fish story? Mr. Analytical Mind over here, disrespecting Jeremy Wade.
The fish being designed.
A sign.
Oh,
your hearing is gone, brother.
I'm also distracted at the moment, so I'm sorry.
The big question is could a fish be a sign?
I thought you said
or is it just another crazy, just people being weird, making up stories?
Like the existence of the fish?
No, you didn't hear any of the story I just said.
You weren't supposed to ask me any questions.
You're gonna have to edit this. This one's gonna be edited.
No, we're gonna keep my failures.
Oh my gosh, Sean. All right. So for the rest of the listeners who heard the story, Sean, there's an oarfish, okay? And this oarfish is 50 feet long.
Yes, it's
not
real.
orifice.
It's real.
Okay. Yes, it's a real fish. Oh my gosh. Japanese culture says that it is a sign of the doomsday, like it's the end times.
No.
And that it could be a sign of natural disasters.
No, I don't.
What I said is that you gave me so much hate over not reading a text messages when the plane went down, and we're in the middle of a conversation. You can't even hear me. The people think that this is something bad could happen because of this fish. Last year, 2024, fishermen off the coast of Thailand caught a 9-foot one, and people were going crazy about it, thinking that it was a sign of a pandemic or something. We believe that it's probably just another fish, correct?
Yes.
Or do you think...
No.
that
It's
there's
not a sign.
any legitimacy to
No.
any of this kind of thing.
No.
Right. Agreed.
No.
Now,
So you could have just stuck with
no. I had to call you on it. After you got so frustrated because I repeated some information. Here you go.
That's funny.
All right. Now look, I get it. On one hand, it's
All
just,
right, hold on. Let me jump in here.
all right, jump in.
Just to clarify, this guy got
We
a bunch
just-
of information in a text message that somebody, me, went through all this investigation of a situation and found out everything about this situation and then sent it in the text. And then like an hour later, he's like, dude, did you guys know? I said that.
No.
So that's why he's like saying.
I reread the text though, and it was a screenshot of your computer. I couldn't read all the little details in the moment that I was in because I was actually working.
Nope. In text, I said
actually-
the guy's name,
And so I texted you on my break.
everything.
I texted you on my break after I did my research, and it just so happened it was in a screenshot of a picture that he sent. And so, sue me, don't sue me. Anyways, we just had a legit in-person conversation.
Well,
I give you all this information.
Now we're even.
Okay. All right. Now look, I get it. On one hand, so this silly, it's not a silly, it's actually a really, did you look up what it
Yeah, I
was?
saw the picture.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
It's like almost
Like
like
a
an
big
eel
snake thing.
eel-like
Eel.
snake thing.
Yeah.
And so in cultures around the world, it signifies doom.
Your note says pause for Sean's response.
Sean did not have a response. He allowed space for humor happen because he wasn't paying attention. But look, on one hand, it's just a fish, right? One hand, it's just a fish.
Yeah.
But what makes it weirder is that this is the deeper thing, right, of this episode. We know nothing about the ocean.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nothing.
All right, so can we go down that path?
Yes,
today?
well, that's where we're headed.
There we go.
Do you know? You keep it playing. It's
That's
all right.
good.
Do you know we only know 5% of our ocean?
Do you know we only know 5% of Mogador?
Right. My point. That's deep. Another episode. But listen.
Did you know that West Branch Reservoir, like it's called James? No, I forget what it's called. It's not called West Branch, but it is West Branch. If you go back on Google Earth, like dates, there was houses down there. They literally flooded the area, built a dam, flooded the area, and buried all of the community that was in that West Branch area. There was houses down there on a creek.
What?
There was a
there a
creek, it's a river,
disaster?
Mahoning River. No, it's just
They just bought 'em out.
United States government, Army Corps of Engineers came in and said, we're going to control flooding on the Mahoning River. And so they built a dam and flooded the West Branch area
Time out.
and called it whatever.
But they bought these people's homes. It wasn't just a natural flood that happened,
Yes.
and then they capitalized and bought the land.
They bought.
Okay.
They bought. Well, I assume they bought everything.
Okay.
But they took ownership of everything and kicked everybody out, flooded the area, and now it's a
wild.
reservoir.
It's wild. It's wild, and it makes you
And
wonder.
they do it everywhere. And that's like
the wildfires makes you wonder.
Berlin Lake is a Corps of Engineers lake, and there's a lot of Corps Engineer lakes in the
I'm just
world.
saying, the point is, we don't know what's in that water.
Yeah. Why
And
did
we-
they flood the area?
And we don't know, but we don't know the ocean specifically. Look, we're trying to go to Mars, and we don't even know what's in our own
We're
water.
just trying to go to Mars because that's where Elon is from.
I don't know about that.
That's what he said. That's what he says.
No.
He said that's it. He is an extraterrestrial, and that's where he's from.
Well, he's kind of,
He's trying to go home.
he's a little out there. He's a little out there, I think.
What if one day he just like pulls off his mask and he's a blue guy
Here we go.
or gray?
No, I don't think so. Anyways, it's weird that the statistic exactly. I don't compute. Does not compute. It's not computing because we don't know what's in our water. We don't know the ocean. Why are we advancing AI and all these? We don't even know what we have here on Earth.
Yeah, it's
God's creation. You
where
know,
all
we've been
the-
here this whole
the
time.
extraterrestrial actually probably lives.
I don't know. We don't know
on Earth.
The point
in
is,
the ocean.
we got this crazy long oarfish that is doomed. orifice. And I don't like that word. And he's not the only thing out there. It's one of those things where it's like, how many species of fish are in there? What is the structures under there look like? Is there anything that we don't? There's clearly 95% of the ocean we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And so sometimes, like, obviously I don't believe that this fish means doom, but maybe it's a sign of something that happened in the water or in the environment, in that thing. Something changed, like a helicopter might have crashed into that and caused a disturbance to make this thing surface. You know what I'm saying? Like something happened. So maybe that's where it's rooted at.
Dude,
you know,
last night would have been the night to go to Mogador.
I know.
It was like all hazy and creepy looking.
I know. We can't though. We had a rally. We're gonna do it.
No, that went on the way home. We could have just stopped at Mogador.
Let's ask.
At midnight, we could have stopped by.
Let's ask our faithful 50 here, right?
Faithful 20.
No, I think it's 50. Let's ask our faithful 50. Do you guys want to see us camp out at Mogador in a YouTube series? Comment below and let us know, because we want to do it. We want to recreate some of our experience and go and find out some things. Okay, and so probably not.
Here we go.
And we want to do that. So if you are interested in that, let us know. But it's just weird that we don't know what's really out there. You know,
Yeah.
We don't really know. And nobody seems to be eager to go deeper into the ocean. Like last year, a couple years ago, that Titanic sub
Ocean Gate
happened.
Which is also a conspiracy.
We got Snake Island in Brazil. We got a lot of things we just don't know a whole lot about, and nobody seems eager to explore it. And so sometimes maybe I think the legends are onto something, or it might just be people looking for signs where there is none. But the ocean is mysterious, man. We don't know really hardly anything about it. We've explored more outer space than we have our own planet. Think of that. That's crazy. It's statistically true that we've explored more outer space than we have our own ocean.
You heard it here first.
Isn't that wild? We've only explored 5% of our ocean. That means 95% of what is down there is completely unknown.
It's crazy.
Which is wild. There could be creatures lurking in the deep that we've never even heard of.
There could be
seen.
Civilizations.
We have no idea.
Of people that have found out how to, maybe SpongeBob is real. Maybe there is a Bikini Bottom and Sandy.
Well, that's actually,
Sandy actually lives in a bubble.
There is a theory about the Bikini Atoll, which is what Bikini Bottom's based off of. So.
Is there a squirrel that lives in a bubble?
Probably not.
I think it's real.
Hey man, that's a cartoon.
I think it's real.
It's a cartoon. It's not real.
I think it's real.
But 95,
I'm just kidding.
Definitely not. But 95% of the ocean is not explored. And another crazier thing is 80% of it is still unmapped.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy.
What?
Because you can map with radar on your boat.
Correct.
Sonar.
Which means there are things out there that we don't know.
We've never even gone over
We've
top
never
of it.
even seen it. We've never even gone near it. Which is, it just seems like something Christopher Columbus, way back should have been able to map the oceans.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
80% of it's not.
I wouldn't say Christopher
Well,
Columbus.
somebody, whoever,
with
whatever.
A sailboat.
You know what I'm saying? But we've advanced so much in technology, and we're so worried about, making deep fakes of political people and using it to cheat at our jobs and not, we're just going to leave 90% of our planet unexplored.
Yeah.
Like the explorer in me is like, what do we do? Like, why have we not looked into that? It's crazy. 80% of the ocean's still unmapped. We have better maps of Mars than we do our own ocean floor.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so when people say, oh, the oarfish is just a fish, this is just a deep sea thing. I mean, sure, yeah, I don't believe it means the end is near. I do think we're in the end times. I don't think that's a symbol of that. I think God could use that to convince somebody of that, right? But I don't think that. But it makes me just wonder what else is down there.
Yeah.
What else is down there? And so I think Jeremy Wade should come back and start a real life sea monster series or something and kind of get into exploring this thing. Okay.
I think I'm curious, like there's probably no way to equate this, but how long would it take somebody, if it was a crew of like 50 people, their full-time job, Monday through Friday, they lived on the boat, they did like 6 months on, 6 months off and transferred crews or whatever. But if if there was a 24/7 crew of 50 people, 365 days a year, mapping all of the water on the earth, how long it would take to map, however wide your cone is on your sonar.
This is gross. but
How long it would take.
I saw a reel the other day of the Grand Canyon. And this is
The pee?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
This is gross.
But it doesn't answer my question.
No, but it's similar, right? It's kind of around the same mind frame. As like they said, if everyone on the planet were to go to the bathroom, number one,
hilarious,
into the Grand Canyon, it would take like 200 years of constant urinating.
Everybody
to
on
fill
the planet.
canyon. That's how
like
deep.
8 billion people.
So I'm gonna guess that to chart the whole ocean would take, even with a crew of every people, it would probably take forever.
Yeah.
I don't think we will ever see all of it.
Well, if it's really just one boat, one ship or whatever, like grid pattern
but
of the entire
ocean's
water.
bigger than the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And deeper. So like,
yeah, well, you're not trying to fill it. I'm not saying go down and dive. I'm saying sonar map it.
Like be over
map it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're just on a boat and you're grid patterning the entire surface of the earth in the water.
It's just really interesting.
Yeah. What are we going to find?
Rabbit hole to go down, Like what is out there? We don't know. And so like, how does this tie into faith, right? At all?
Why don't you tell us?
In the Bible, right? As believers, we know we don't really believe in myths or mythology, but a lot of things are based in the Bible. The Bible talks about Leviathan and the Kraken. The Bible talks about that. And so, but the Bible already tells us the meaning behind the oarfish was signs for the end, right? That's what that was. But the Bible tells us, Matthew 24, 6-7, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Check. We're in that right now, right? Nations shall rise against nations. Check. We're in that right now. Kingdom against kingdom. Check. There will be famines. Check. Pestilence. Check. Earthquakes. Check. In diverse places. Check. These are real signs that God tells us to look for the end. And so people may look at an oarfish and say, oh, well, that's a sign of something bad's about to happen, or it's the end of the time, it's end of time, or whatever. And we know that the real signs of the times is found in God's word. And we've been in that season for a very long time. And I'm not saying that God's coming back today or right now, but I'm saying we're in a season that he could come back.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that we should weigh biblical signs over myths, of course, but it's fun to speculate, right? What these things could be or do. Here's another thing. When you think about how little we know about the ocean, doesn't that really show you more of the greatness of God's creation?
Yeah.
Like the vastness of, we talked about this a little bit with Pete, like something cool about being an outdoorsman, going outside and going fishing, hunting, exploring, whatever you're into, foraging. You could go into the same place multiple times and never seem the same thing twice.
Yep.
And it's the same with our faith. Like, man, you could pray the same prayer 1,000,000 times, but it's never going to be the same experience.
Yeah.
God's relationship with you is endless, and you get out of it what you put into it. Right. And so, man, it's just interesting. We don't know really a whole lot about God's creation still.
Yeah.
So
there is an initiative called Seabed 2030 by the Nippon Foundation.
Interesting.
Debco. Their goal is to provide a map, or the mapping, or their mission is to inspire ocean mapping and deliver a complete seabed map for the benefit of people in the planet by 2030.
Interesting.
That's probably not going to happen.
But. No, but what, like, because, like, there's probably going to find stuff that they don't want people to know about. They found like chariots at the bottom of the Dead Sea, or the Red Sea, rather.
Yep.
Like where Moses split the waters.
Yep.
There's like chariots.
Yeah.
Confirming God's word. Do you think they're going to just be like, yep, the Bible's real? Like, this proves it. They're not going to do that. They also found like vessels, like pots, clay pots that were full of seeds, like a seed bank, and they planted some of the seeds and it started to produce trees from the Bible times. Wow. So like, I just don't think that the enemy is going to allow all things to come out. Or they're going to try to hinder that.
This might be a rabbit hole.
You're right.
But in
speculative,
the Ravenna Arsenal, there are trees
that have been preserved over there that are mostly like somewhat extinct from the world.
Really?
That because they've been able to preserve them by keeping people off that land with their secret operations.
I believe it. I believe that there's stuff like that all over the place.
The second biggest non-typical buck that has ever been recorded in the United States or anywhere in the world. It was, there's two stories. It was caught under the fence and the other one is hit by a train. But this is like a 338-inch non-typical buck called the Hole in the Horn. It's a famous buck. And that was right here. That was 5 miles from my house.
Man.
So
hopefully he got to reproduce. We'll see more like him.
Man, I don't think it's genetics.
Oh boy.
I think that there's something
the
going on. There's everybody knows there's something going on at the Ravenna Arsenal.
I don't know, man.
That place is way too active for it. Okay, so it's
I think it's a great establishment that has no nefarious anything going on, and that we're all just okay with it, just operating the way it is.
Anybody that knows anything about National Guard knows that those guys serve on the weekends. Once a month on the weekends, they go for the weekend and they have to go serve. There is always somebody at that place. That place is always busy. And during the week, I hear bombs going off. Like there's something else going on over there, dude.
Maybe.
And they used to house. I mean, it was an arsenal. They for the World War and for Vietnam, it was an ammunition plant, and they had these. They call them magazines. It was like underground, like bunker things that are hidden, like with natural cover. And so they would hold all the ammunition in there and explosives and everything, right? So, man, that place is still open and running, and they don't make any. They haven't made anything since Vietnam.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They quit making ammunition a long.
Why is that place so active?
Well, it's probably got like stuff in there that we're not supposed to.
Yeah,
we can't just get rid of it.
As an analytical mindset person, there's something going on at the Ravenna Arsenal.
I think you gotta be careful asking those questions.
Yeah,
and also this is a topic for a whole deep dive episode, I think.
Yeah, we need David.
Yep. Well, let us know if you want that. We'll do that. But yeah, man, I agree. It's weird. It's weird. And I think there's lots of places all over. You know, Oreo has a bunker with it's like a doomsday bunker that they have. Coca-Cola has this too. I don't remember where it is. I want to say
Atlanta.
It's somewhere with ice.
Atlanta.
Is it?
Coca-Cola? Like their secret recipe?
I'm talking about Oreo. I know Coke has one too. They have a bunker where they have their recipe, and Oreo even has like freeze-dried milk and like stacks of Oreos that have been preserved in case like something bad happens and we can bring back the Oreo later.
I've been to the Coca-Cola Museum. And saw the vault.
Yeah, it's cool. Speaking of bringing it back though, in case something bad happens, you know they're trying to bring back the woolly mammoth. Like
is that an animal?
Are you kidding me? The woolly mammoth?
Oh, the dinosaur thing?
Yeah. Oh. No, like the elephant,
all
the
right.
prehistoric
So according
elephant?
to Pete Rogers, that's going to be impossible.
How?
Because they're going to have to
No.
They're all from one family.
No.
They don't interbreed.
No. They have to have a like species to breed with.
Oh.
Our elephant
Oh, really?
is a like species. That's the ancestor of the elephant. Not that I think we should be messing with things.
That works.
It does. We've done that with other species. Speaking of which, let me find it. But a precursor to this is look it up, woolly mouse. The woolly mouse. Something recent that happened. I can't find it in my notes, but it's okay. They apparently it's like exactly what you think. It's something out of sci-fi, like Jurassic Park. They found some DNA. They found it in a tusk that was still like not living tissue, but fresh enough tissue. And they're starting to work on cloning it and bringing it back to life. And this is stuff that's been happening in the scientific field, and they're doing this for a woolly mouse. And so let me look it up for you so you can see it. They don't look like a dinosaur or anything, but they're making these mice.
Just like a fuzzy mouse.
Yeah. But it's through the DNA. They've mixed the DNA of a woolly mammoth into this mouse.
That's so dangerous.
To try to bring.
We're messing with stuff we shouldn't be messing with.
I concur, my friend. And so it's just wild. that we're even doing this. Like, did you
Why?
watch Jurassic Park? Did you watch it? Did you watch that show? Because it seems like that's like I feel like here's what happened. We have had some incredible sci-fi movies of our youth, and then we grew up to become smart scientists that are doing the things that were in movies, and it's crazy. Even the thought of AI was a concept long before it became a reality. Right?
Yeah. What was the name of that amusement park that was on a lake right up here?
Geauga Lake. Geauga.
I'm curious
Geauga.
if there is something there also.
On Geauga Lake?
Just why did an entire amusement park that was successful just go down?
I think funding. And
it was
PETA,
owned by Disney.
And PETA. And we had Cedar Point. We used to go to
not Disney, SeaWorld.
Yep, SeaWorld used to be there.
And Six Flags.
It went under because a lot of things. I remember going there as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything there, you think?
I don't know. I just, for some reason, it just came up, like, thinking about, like, this stuff.
Yeah. So they have this effort to bring back the woolly mammoth. And Justin talked about this a little bit, too. Maybe we can go into this again in another episode. But they want to de-instinct. That's not the right way to say that. But they want to bring it back. The woolly mammoth. Okay. The woolly mammoth is an iconic species. You know, if you ever watched the movie Ice Age.
Yeah.
It's Manny.
All right. Here's a funny one for the listeners. I have been compared to Sid the Sloth many times in my life.
I don't see it.
It's this. Now you'll never be able to not see it.
I don't see it. I don't see that.
Sid the Sloth,
People
Sean Delaney.
People are mean.
I see, like when
but I don't.
I like people messing with that. I think it's hilarious.
You look nothing like Sid the Sloth, though. I know other people. Never mind. Never mind.
You know it's true.
That's not even close to you, though. You don't look anything like Sid the Sloth. You have
hilarious.
Oh, you're working on getting your chin back, man.
It'll never come back. That's just naturally how I am.
It's not.
I've never had a chin.
It'll happen.
I've always had a neck.
Oh my gosh. Sid the Sloth. But Manny in Ice Age is a woolly mammoth, and they're trying to bring it back. And it's been 4,000, allegedly 4,000 years ago. And we have been advancing in science and biology and all these things and messing with how to do these things. And a notable development endeavors has happened with the woolly mouse, that mouse that we were talking about a minute ago. They modified this rodent to have mammoth-like traits. In an effort to do this on a larger scale, to crossbreed the elephant and make the woolly mammoth a thing again. So biotechnology company called Colossal Biosciences has been at the forefront of attempting to resurrect the woolly mammoth. Their approach involves editing specific genes responsible for the mammoth's distinct features, such as dense, long hair, adaptations to cold environments, back into the Asian elephant, the mammoth's closest living relative, right? So Pete was talking about like species, and they're close enough related that in theory they could reproduce with each other to bring this animal back. And so the ultimate goal is to produce a living mammoth-like creature that could potentially be reintroduced into the Arctic habitats, Antarctica.
That's actually a very desert place if you go down to the bottom of the ice.
And so
because it was,
or just in colder areas.
The Garden of Eden's at.
Think about Canada and different areas too that are cold. Garden of Eden. Oh my gosh! But this colossal biosciences place aims to achieve the birth of the first woolly mammoth calf by 2028.
Oh my gosh!
Right along the time that they're going to map out the whole ocean floor. It's pretty wild. And so I think this is just crazy. Don't you?
Yeah.
Do you think we should be messing with all this stuff?
Nope.
While the creation of the woolly mouse sparks significant milestone in science, I am cautious about all of this and trying to play God and bring back things that are dead. Right? I don't think that that's very wise. I think it would be cool. Like, I'd probably go see one, right? Yeah. But I also seen the movies. We've seen it. We've seen how this plays out. It's just weird. It's weird that we're trying to mess with things like this, and It's crazy. So I saw that in a reel. I saw that the woolly mouse was a thing. It made me think. What are we doing? You got any thoughts?
It's just scary that we just think that we can play God.
Yeah.
Not we as in us, but
our
humans.
We keep anytime we get into something weird, we keep trailing back to the Tower of Babel. But I just think that God doesn't. This isn't it. You know.
It's.
What if we took
What if
we took all this energy into trying to play God, into building a relationship with God? What would happen? You know.
Well, I think a lot of those people that are doing this probably don't believe in God.
There was a quote. I can't remember where I heard this, but it was a quote of a scientist who said, you know, for all of creation, all of time, we've said that God, we were made in the image of God, but we're going to create God in the image of us.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's messed up.
No, that's insane. That's insane. And that is the spirit of the Antichrist, you know, like that's wild. We should not, those are intrusive thoughts. Scientists don't say that again. You know, we don't want that. And so I don't like it. I don't like it. But what are some, man, what do you do? What do you even do with that? We can't even,
I don't know.
I can't even imagine, but we're close to that. And they're talking about bringing back T-Rexes through chickens. So like they won't be full-size T-Rexes, but there'll be dinosaurs the size of chickens. I just don't know.
Sounds like those tiny dogs that always bite your ankles.
Oh, Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what dog breeds are, though. Like science messed with different breeds to make different designer breeds. And
yeah, but they're all dogs at the end of the day. That's not like species.
I don't know.
Like that's the same species.
Well, so would be the
so
would be the woolly mammoth. It's just an elephant. It's just a prehistoric elephant.
Different species.
Is it? It's not though. They're the same. Like it'd be like a different species of that mammal. You know.
Mm.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird though, huh?
Yeah.
So another thing happened, and it was a reel that I saw. You might have seen this too. Not the Grand Canyon urine reel, but do you remember the fish from Finding Nemo?
Which one?
The angler?
Dory?
No, the angler fish.
Yeah. The light?
Yeah, the light. The like squishy light thing.
Yeah.
One of those surfaced recently.
Yeah, that's crazy because they're deep.
They're deep in the unknown, right? And so one of those surfaced, and I heard that they can get up to be pretty big, like 4 feet long or something.
Wow.
But this one was only a couple inches, which was really tiny.
I've seen a bigger one on that surface before.
Really?
Yeah.
So this one was called. It was not the oarfish in Thailand. Okay. They pulled up this fish. It's called a black sea devil anglerfish on camera. This thing lives 6,000 feet down in total darkness, and it's got a little light hanging off its head, and it's like we've all seen Finding Nemo, and it's just weird that thing surfaced. It's like tiny though. It was such a letdown to me because it was like the size of a quarter when it surfaced.
Yeah, this one was was in California.
Washed up.
Yeah.
This one I think swam to the surface.
No, really, half mile beneath the surface.
But I'm sure
I'm sure it's deeper than a half mile. It's only 2,000 feet.
Yeah. So weird. A lot of unknown in the ocean, huh?
Yeah, there is.
And a lot of things been surfacing while we're trying to mess with woolly mammoths and AI and all these things. It just feels weird.
Crazy.
I feel like we're getting too big. My family back in the South would say we're getting too big for our britches. You know, maybe we need a little humbling. You know, a little big for our britches. And I don't know, man. I think it's wild. Yeah. What do you think?
Messing with stuff we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Same.
Let's talk about overrated, underrated. Overrated, underrated. Overrated, underrated. What do you think about that? Overrated, underrated. Let's talk about it. Today we're going to talk about science development and also the ocean Okay. Overrated, underrated.
Okay.
Now, the first one. What do you think? What do you think about deep sea diving?
Hold on, that guitar part was really awesome. Okay. Deep sea diving.
Yep.
How deep?
Just in the ocean.
Because that depends.
I would say let's start with just the ocean.
Like how deep though?
I don't know, man.
Because we can go from like a foot to.
I did it in. Well, this
Oh, you wouldn't dive?
No, I went to Cozumel Islands in Mexico, and I had a snorkel, so it's not deep anything diving. But I got to see like coral and.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty crazy like the practices that they do like to surface like with breathing and stuff. Like there's some pretty dangerous like situations that can occur. Like when you reel up a fish from deep, like you have to like stick a needle in it to de-air it or whatever.
What is that called? I'm not prepared for this crazy topic, but you can't you can't go from diving deep back up and then go straight back down.
Yeah.
You have to have a day to re-regulate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild.
It's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, man.
So oh gosh, here's another one. So
I used to be a deep sea diver. What?
So when I first started career searching, I'll call it, I went to trade school for welding, and my ultimate goal was to become a underwater welder.
Yeah, they get paid a lot.
They do, and there was a lot of like things that were cool to me, like not only just like being in the water and like diving and stuff, but the aspect that like, when you go and I forget the time frames now, but I'll just estimate like, and I can get corrected. That's fine. I'm not afraid to be wrong. Mm-hmm. But if you were on a job, like you were only allowed to be down like for 4 hours or something, then you'd have to have like 16 hours off or something like that. And so that was cool to me. And like, but that 4 hours, you got paid the same as somebody that worked a 12-hour shift or more, like, so yeah, underwater welding was always something so I think it's neat. Like the whole diving thing is kind of cool.
I mean, I have very limited and pretty much primitive experience with that with my time in Mexico, but it was fun just to snorkel. It's completely different things. Yeah. Deep water welding and swimming in Cosmo different. But yeah, I don't know if I would do it. I think there's too much risk. Especially now that we know that none of it's been explored. Yeah, that's pretty wild. But also, somebody needs to do it.
The main jobs that I was looking at was a lot of the welding jobs are on the rigs. Down south, like Texas and stuff.
All right, man. Tired.
3 episodes in for the day. Yeah.
Okay, next one. Ready? I don't even know if this is the right name. Overrated, underrated, legit or myth, whatever we want to call this. But the oars, we talked about this already, but the oarfish as a sign. Orifice as a sign.
See, you could have waited till now.
I know, but it was
instead of calling me out at the beginning.
It's all right. You weren't paying attention to the whole story anyways. It's okay. Hey, Sean, I love you, man.
I love you, bro.
Yeah! We're getting somewhere. It's no shame in brotherly love. Amen. So it's all right.
You're pushing it.
But is it overrated? This whole Japanese mythology behind this fish, overrated, underrated?
Overrated.
Yeah. I agree. But silly. I do think there's merit to culture, though. I really do. I think everything has a lot of other cultures tie back to the Bible, like a lot of, and that's another episode. But
which we will not record today.
No, we will not. Okay, next one. Ready? Exploring the parts of the ocean that we haven't explored yet. Should we do it or shouldn't we do it? Are we sleeping on deep sea mysteries? Like, why are we not? Like, should we do this or should we not?
Yeah, I think we should. I want to see what's down there.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to see.
Do you think Atlantis is real or was real? Do you think it was because like plate tectonics and different things and, things
I don't know anything about Atlantis.
Okay. Maybe another episode. Okay. This anglerfish, that scary fish from Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
One of the scariest fish or overhyped deep sea weirdo?
Overhyped.
Agreed. I was so disappointed when I saw that it was the size of a quarter. And I was like, oh, this thing's just a sad little deep dweller, like just a weird deep sea weirdo. What are you gonna eat at 2 inches tall? You know,
Yeah.
it's weird. All right, here's a big one. In the 95% of the ocean that we still have, do you think there's a possibility that the megalodon shark is still alive?
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much stuff we don't know about. Why would it not be?
Yeah. People are so hard in the paint on that though. Like, it's dead, it's not around. But like the Bible talks about like the Leviathan and different things, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think it's still around.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think, but the issue with that is though that they gotta have a food supply. But all the science like documentaries that I've watched on it is like there's just not enough food supply. Where would it feed? Where would it grow? How would it go? Hey, in the 95% of the ocean that we don't know, you don't think there's any life whatsoever? Like that doesn't make sense anymore to me. Like that explanation doesn't fit because we don't know what's down there. More fish are down there apparently with the oarfish and the anglerfish and
Orphis.
all the other things. I don't know.
I'm stuck on the orifice.
I know you are, and I don't like that word.
Why?
Orifice?
It's a hole.
Yeah, I don't like it. Anyways,
I had to. Quick story.
Okay.
So the Equinox that I had to get rid of.
Yeah.
So there's the PCV valve, which I can't really describe what it does. But so there was moisture and like some blockage in the PCV hose. And then there's the PCV orifice that's just inside the intake manifold. Mm-hmm. I know I'm above your head right now, but just follow. So instead of pulling the entire exhaust manifold off the car, pull the throttle body, pull all the bolts for the exhaust manifold, and get in behind there to clean out the orifice of the PCV valve, I drilled a hole through my exhaust manifold and stuck a tip cleaner for a oxygen acetylene torch.
You're talking about Q-tip.
And found the hole through the hole I drilled and was able to clean it out. The orifice is the hole I'm talking about. And cleaned it out and then put silicone on a screw and right into the exhaust manifold.
Back to that topic.
Saved myself like 4 hours of work.
Yesterday or last episode, you were talking about if I break it, I'll just have to fix it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, fear of failure, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, next one. Ready? Using AI to map the ocean. Game changer or just not reliable and dangerous?
No, we definitely should use it.
Yeah.
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 We should use, so they've got, you may have seen this, but some like quarries and stuff have, maybe not just quarries, but some construction sites even possibly have remote controlled
LiDAR
excavators, dozers, all the earth moving equipment are remote controlled from a remote location somewhere in the world.
That's cool.
So they got cameras set up on them, and these guys are sitting in an office running excavators
rather than be put in the danger of doing
right. Well, not only that, but anybody that's trained to do it can do it from anywhere in the world from home. And then so I'm saying, why not put a ship out there with a remote control like we have with excavators and rely on Starlink or something to run it and then AI mapping with it. Like, so you don't even really, you can have it navigate itself. That's already a technology out there. Like autopilot a grid, train it to do a grid and run the grid, you know?
I just think, man, like with our world right now, how volatile it is, I think that, man, it'd be cool if we could all just get along for a little bit so we could do some of these bigger earth
that'll
things,
never happen.
You know? It'd be cool if everything would just chill out and we could just decide to say, hey, let's find out. You remember, like, let's go back to the moon or let's go find out what's at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. But science gets weird. And next part is like the woolly mouse discovery or development. Do you think that's wild? Like, what should we be doing these things?
I would say we've said this a lot already, but no, we shouldn't be doing that. But I think the thing looks cute.
Cuter than the monkeys.
Cuter than a mouse.
I would own a woolly mouse. I would love a woolly mouse. But only if it gets tusks.
It's like fuzzy like my dog.
Yeah. Which brings us back to the woolly mammoth. Scientific breakthrough or unnecessary Jurassic Park experiment?
Yeah, I feel like these are all repeating questions.
Yeah.
But again, like, no.
Okay, different, same line, okay? Cloning your pet. Would you do it or is it just creepy and inexpensive?
No, you shouldn't be messing with stuff you shouldn't be messing with.
I agree. All right. I think that's it.
Let me give some change topic here.
Yep.
Let's do just a couple of fishing
Or fish.
a couple of fishing overrated underrateds for you.
Yes, I want it.
I'm here for it.
All right. Is catch and release overrated or underrated in modern fishing practices?
It's circumstantial.
All right. Discuss the effectiveness and the ethical considerations of catch and release versus harvesting fish.
Okay. I think
Let's change your mind by
you're not
explaining this.
We have a lot more in common than you think on this issue. And we talked about it a little bit before. I would probably not, unless it was a survival situation. I would not eat a muskie.
Mm-hmm.
I would not eat a sturgeon. I would not eat probably even a northern pike.
Would you still eat bass?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I have a stance on this.
That's funny.
And here's why. And it's not because I don't like the big fish. It's not because I want to ruin people's trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Scientifically proven, and Pete would echo this probably, and I know Chase understands this as well. And Steve Vernella is a very famous hunter and fisherman who has talked about this at length. You have to call off the smaller fish for the big ones to survive. So it is actually doing the bass fishermen a favor when I call off the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And so from a conservation perspective,
look at you being all conservative, conservation minded.
Well, I'm just saying,
that's awesome.
Like there's a point to it. Like
the new you.
It's always been a thing. I've just been vocal on
Steelhead's your weakness.
Yeah, it is, because it's so big, and delicious. But no.
All right.
But it's also fun to keep going back to catch two more, like it's okay. But yeah, I would say it's circumstantial. There's certain fish that I would probably never eat. I'm never going to eat a carp unless I'm desperate need for food.
I'll eat grass first.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying but there's been studies on that too. Like it's a delicacy. It's more that it's bony. For certain people, that's a go-to. But go ahead, next one.
All right. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with tournament style fishing, but if maybe you have a little bit of a view of it, but are tournament style fishing competitions overrated or underrated when it comes to promoting sustainability?
It depends. For example, we talked about this last episode. If you're dumping trout into a reservoir to do that, no.
Tournament style fishing competitions, you got 50 boats on a 2,000 acre.
I think it's
lake.
good. I think it's good for. What are you saying? For it to raise money?
So explore whether competitive fishing promotes better conservation practices,
it does.
Or if it leads to unnecessary harm to fish populations.
It doesn't harm the fish population. It's the same concept that Pete was talking about with hunting. It brings more money in, which means more conservation efforts are made because more is being poured back into that species and that environment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying that right enough?
I think so.
Yeah.
Is deep sea fishing overrated or underrated as a threat to the marine ecosystem?
This is where
examine how deep sea fishing.
I'm a little outside of my wheelhouse, but I do have an opinion, and it's more along the lines of commercial fishing, and we decimate our ocean that we know very little about because of because of commercial fishing. And we'll wipe out entire bloodlines of fish and
one scoop of the net.
And so much gets caught up in that. So I have the right to be wrong, but I do not think that is the best. I think that is hurtful.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
That's where
with
a lot of our
mass
food
harvest
comes from too.
I know, but there's got to be a better way.
Yeah. Well, I guess farming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of farm.
There's just got to be a better way because we're ruining the part of the ocean that we do know about. And it's causing, dude, we talked about this too. I want this all to be around for my kids if God so chooses to tarry, Yeah. And so, yeah.
All right. Last one.
Mm-hmm.
Are fishing gear innovations like fish finders and where they've become today overrated, underrated in terms of making the sport less authentic?
Overrated. I don't think I think it takes out the skill.
Yeah.
I think it takes out, I don't want to say the fun, because you're going to get excited to see the fish and then catch the fish. But if in a tournament style, is that what you mean?
Just anything like the impact of the technological advancements on fishing and whether they enhance or diminish the traditional fishing experience.
They diminish traditional fishing experience. They enhance the effectiveness of fishing. I think it becomes too much like a job and you're taking too much of what I love about it out of it.
So I listened to Mike Iaconelli's podcast. He's an old timey professional fisherman. He's still fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series. He's like 40 or something like that. He's in his 30th year of fishing the Elite Series. And him and Ish Monroe, another professional, they were just talking about how like when they fish tournaments, like when they first started, it was beating the banks all the time, just beating the banks for fish. You know, they had their fish finder, depth finder and stuff, but it was never like today. And now you see these professionals on the professional level, both in the MLF and the Elite Series. These kids are like 18, 19 years old, professional fishermen, and they're staring at the screen the entire day. They don't look up one time.
Yeah, I don't like it. I just think it's not.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
that's so anti.
And it's all that forward facing. That's the big thing around forward facing sonar is the older guys watching these 19, 20, 21-year-old pros stare at the bow of their boat because they're looking at their screen, running their forward facing sonar, looking for fish, and so they're scanning the lake for fish. They see one, they go to it, they catch it, they weigh it, throw it back in. Scan the lake, look for another fish. They find one and all on the screen. They're not looking up.
It's lame.
Yeah, it's crazy. But they're very effective.
Sure, but it's lame.
Yeah.
It takes away what fishing is.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
So I think that's why both MLF and Elite Series have limited one. So there's 3 stages in one. So there's multiple days of tournament. In one period, there's 3 periods in one day. In one period, you're allowed to use forward-facing sonar, and the other 2 is they're not allowed. They have to lock their black box.
Or just as a dad, right? As a dad who
before you say that, that's the tournament style fishing competition's overrated or underrated when it comes to promoting sustainability, because these guys aren't even fishing for them. They're seeing them and they're going to hitting them right in the head. With their jig. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's
is that promoting sustainability?
No, because it's
tournament style, you know.
Well, yeah, I think tournaments promotes sustainability. I don't think that this technology should be allowed in the tournaments. And I know nothing about tournaments, but I think that it's not because I think it's cheating. It's a good use of technology. However, as a dad and as somebody who's fished their whole life, the point is to get away from the screens and go touch grass and water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like go be out in God's creation and catch some of God's splendor. You know what I mean? Like you're missing out on the bigger meaning behind this sport hobby thing that we do. The bigger meaning and the bigger connection. There's a connection there. Even with harvesting fish, like there's a deeper connection when you catch the fish by using your brain, not a screen.
Yeah.
Using skill and technique and time on the water to catch this fish. And then you bring that home and you eat it. You have so much appreciation for it. It's not just like sweeping the net of the ocean, dragging in, here's another day, another fish. Like, I don't know, man. I don't like that, the way that's pushing it. But
for me, as somebody that owns forward-facing sonar on a bass boat, I personally think that in tournament-style fishing, they are not promoting sustainability.
Right.
I think that because they're going out and beating these fish on the head, quite literally, and they're getting so the fish remember these things.
Yeah, they're
like,
bite shy.
They don't remember. Yeah, they're bite shy. They don't remember like a human, but they remember like last time I did that, I got hooked in the mouth.
Yeah,
you know, and so it's sustainability of fishing is. You know, they're not going to bite anymore. Like you can't really take your kids out and be as easy as it was because they're getting beat on the head 24/7 with forward facing sonar.
Yeah.
You know? As somebody that owns it, and I think it's going to be really enjoyable to go out and get my family on fish.
Yeah.
I'm not going out and beating fish on the head all day long, 8 hours a day for 4 days a week, like a professional in a tournament style, you know?
Yeah. I agree, man. I think we just got to be careful.
Yeah. I agree that maybe it shouldn't be in tournaments, even though it's limited now to one period a day.
Yeah, but it's cheat. Like, how do you not view it as cheating?
Because it's technology that everybody has. It's not something that's only one person has. Right. Everybody's got it on their boat.
Yeah, that's not. It still doesn't mean you're.
It's like
it's still cheating.
NBA.
Though.
It's like NBA.
Okay, but
everybody has the same tools.
All right, let's talk baseball for a second. If everybody's taking steroids is against the rules for baseball right now. Well, if everybody's taking it, is it cheating?
No, not if it's not against the rules, and not if everybody's doing it.
But if it's been against the rules forever, right? And then we change the rules because it makes it more entertaining.
Yeah.
Doesn't that diminish the heart of the original sport?
I liked baseball better when Barry Bonds was on steroids. This is a bad example.
But what I'm saying, I agree. But
Mark McGwire, that was the best time to watch baseball.
You're taking away the heart of what it is, though, just to make it easier and more entertaining.
Mm-hmm. The same argument could be made about normal fishing electronics because they weren't around when Bill Dance started fishing, you know?
Yeah. I just like to think.
But eventually it'll be normal.
I don't know.
You know?
But then you'll pay millions of dollars, not millions, but you'll pay a bunch of pretty pennies to go to the Amazon in a remote place to catch a fish the old-fashioned way. Where none of this is around. And there'll be better and bigger fish. More special.
Yeah. I caught an air pime on a literal stick.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that's my take on it. I think we just gotta be careful. So last cast.
Yeah.
What you got?
I don't remember.
You don't remember half of this episode? That's okay. I'm kidding. No. I guess the takeaway, this was kind of an all over the board episode. But the takeaway is...
You tell we're 3 deep for the day.
Yeah. The takeaway is I hope this was fun for you to listen to. We speculated a lot. We talked a lot of the mysteries of the deep, strange signs in nature. And just to know, Matthew 20, the Bible part, what little was in this episode was Matthew 24:42. It says, "Watch, therefore, for you know not the hour that the Lord cometh." That means that it's not about, we shouldn't be looking at signs necessarily. I mean, the Bible does talk about the signs to look for, and those are all here. We shouldn't be looking for, it's not about the fish or the earthquakes or anything else. We need to be spiritually ready every single day. That's what the point of that scripture is. We need to be spiritually ready, be prepared. And so the Bible lays it out for us that we just need to be ready. And I think the mysteries of all the things, like the deep, the ocean's deep, and these oarfish and all these things, it's exciting. The woolly mammoth, the mammoth mouse, all these things. It's all interesting, but I really do feel like it is a sign of the times that we're trying to play God so much.
Yeah. And
we need to just focus on our relationship with the Lord. And with the fishing stuff, man, I think it's just a thing where we need to keep the main thing, even with advancements of technology.
Yeah.
Keep the genuine experience. One day people are going to look back, if God tarries, and think, man, I remember when it was as simple as a bobber and a lure, and those are going to be special moments, and you'll probably pay good money to recreate that, And so I think that,
I still use a bobber and a reel for steelhead, by the way.
Yeah. So I think with the advancements in technology and all of the unknown, we need to keep some of the authenticity alive. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the point of this episode.
Yeah.
I think. So if you enjoyed this, let us know. If you had something in this episode that spoke out to you, talk about it in the comments section. What do you think about all this weird stuff? Do you like it? Do you want us to talk more about it, less about it, something else? Comment below. Let us know. Hit the like, subscribe, and join this conversation. Okay.
Maybe David will be on next week.
Yeah,
maybe.
we'll have some new guests coming on soon. But until then, stay safe, cast faith into everyday life, and always keep God first.
Yep. Have a good day. Get out on the water.
Yes.
We'll see y'all.
Like, comment, and subscribe.